Okay, now solutions to inequalities, right? So here I have this inequality where it says x, or 8x is less than negative 15. And so 8 times x is less than negative 15. So is x equals negative 2 a solution, right? So if I make x equal to negative 2, is that a solution? Well, I can just plug the number in. So instead of x, I put in negative 2. So x times negative 2, is that less than negative 15? Well, I know 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. Is that less than negative 15? Yes. Right? As I mentioned in a previous video, the more negative you get, the lesser and lesser value it is. It's kind of like temperature. Is there less heat outside when it's negative 16 degrees than when it's negative 15 degrees? Yeah, that's a colder temperature, so the temperature is less on this day than it is on that day. So yeah, negative 16 is less than negative 15. Here we have m plus 5 is less than or equal to negative 4. Is m equals negative 8 a solution? Well, let's put negative 8 in. So negative 8 plus 5 is less than or equal to negative 4. And is that actually true? Well, these two combine to negative 3. Is that less than or equal to negative 4? And the answer in this case is no, right? This guy is closer to 0, right? This one is further away from 0. This is actually greater. Negative 3 is greater than negative 4. It's closer to 0 and it's closer to all those big positive numbers, whereas this one is further away from 0. So no, negative 8 is not a solution to that inequality. Now, what we can do also is we're asked to solve inequalities and graph the solutions. So this will be familiar to students who solved equations, which should be everybody. If I've got n plus 7 is greater than negative 5, I'm going to add negative 7 to this side. Oops, I forgot to draw my line down the middle, because if I do it to the left, I've got to do it to the right. Add negative 7 to this side. This becomes n plus 0 is greater than negative 12, which is really just n is greater than negative 12. So there's my solution. N is greater than negative 12. And to graph that, here's my number line. I'll put negative 12 in the middle. Negative 11 there and negative 10 like that. Here's negative 13. Put a circle around negative 12, and I need to be greater than negative 12. And so that is going to be in this direction. These are the greater numbers. Do I color in the circle? No, because it doesn't say that I can be equal to negative 12. I only color that in when it's greater than or equal to. Trick people can use. This only works when the variable is on the left and the number is on the right. I'll zoom in here for a second. If you draw an imaginary line like this, then the arrow is pointing to the right, and so is the arrow on your solution. Clearly that's not going to work if you put the n over there and the negative 12 over here. Pac-Man still needs to be eating the n, and so I would draw that this way. So if you do that, all of a sudden, then the arrow is pointing in the wrong direction, so that's not going to help you. That trick isn't going to work in this case. It only works when the n is on the left and the solution is on the right. In this case, 8y is less than or equal to negative 56, okay? Well, y is being multiplied by 8, so I'm going to divide both sides by 8. That leaves me with 1y on this side is less than or equal to negative 7, because negative 56 divided by 8 is negative 7. And there's my solution. Y is less than or equal to 7. So now I have to graph that. I come over here to my number line. Here's negative 7. That's negative 8. That's negative 9. Negative 6. Negative 5. Put a circle around my negative 7. If I use the trick from before, I'm pointing to the left. So my arrow is going to point in this direction. And I can fill in the circle because it says that I'm less than or equal to negative 7. And that's kind of messy now because I put that line in there, so I'm just going to rewrite this. Y is less than or equal to negative 7 like that. A couple other practice problems. Here we go. W over 5 is less than 10. Well, W is being divided by 5, so to undo that, I'm going to multiply by 5. I'm going to put it 5 over 1 because I'm dealing with fractions on this side. Over here, I'm just going to write it as just regular 5. Simplify before you multiply. The 5's become 1's. So over here, I'm left with just 1y is less than 50. Did I say y? W. W is less than, making mistakes all over. W is less than 50, like that. And to graph my solution, pretty straightforward. There's a 50, 51, 49. I didn't leave myself much space. Heading in this direction. And I don't fill in the circle because it's less than 50. It's not less than or equal to 50. All right, let's make it a little bit tougher here. I'm going to add the opposite. Make that plus negative 2.1. X plus negative 2.1 is greater than or equal to negative 5.3. I am going to add positive 2.1 to both sides. Gets me x plus 0 is greater than or equal to 5.3 negatives and 2.1 positives are going to counteract each other. There's more negatives, so it should come out to be 3.2, negative 3.2. There's more negatives, so I'm still negative. I'm just not as negative as I used to be because I added 2.1 to it. So x is greater than or equal to negative 3.2. Heat's kicking on. And graph your solution. 1, 2, 3. Oops, jeepers. Where's your head? Here we go. Let's just... So here's, what would be the best way to do that? I think negative 3.2, and then getting closer to 1, or getting closer to 0, negative 3.1, negative 3.0, like that. It's almost like negative 32, negative 31, negative 30, one way to think of it. So this is going to be negative 3.3, and this is going to be negative 3.4. Circle around that. Does get filled in because it's greater than or equal to, and because it's greater than, it's pointing in this direction. There's your solution. Oops, aha, should look like that.